Hello and welcome back to Live Reality Games. I am one of your hosts, McKenna. I'm joined by JT and the host of Survivor Roysan, Merrimack Madness, Liam. How you doing today, boys?
Hi, what's up?
Feeling good.
All right, let's get into this first episode. Liam, it was really great. I loved this episode. It was very well edited, so stop stressing.
Yeah, please stop.
Praise me.
So
Praise
good.
me.
Nothing to worry about.
So we get into this opening sequence, and it's the lore of Camp Merrimack and like the madness, the games that went on. So if you want to break that down a little again for everyone, that would be great.
Yeah, it was Camp Roysan was the old camp, and at the end of the camp session, they would hold a week-long game called Merrimack Madness, and then eventually those games got controversial because it was pitting the campers against each other, a la Survivor. So combining it with Survivor and the old camp that we were playing at, it created the perfect unity of Survivor Merrimack Madness.
Yeah, there we go. And then obviously we can't have campers without their counselors. So we have two returning players in JJ and Sonia. And I think they both had great energy and were raring to go and pumped to play this season.
Yeah, that was a goal of bringing them back. I was nervous with the camp theme that maybe people would kind of just relax and forget about the Survivor thing. So I felt like they were two great injections into the game to get the ball rolling.
So, JT, is there a certain like connotation with them being counselors, like them being leaders, and do you think they have a target on their back moving forward?
I have mixed feelings on this. I kind of feel like they both made it clear to the tribes that it's like, you heard Liam say it, like there's nothing special. I'm just a player with a second chance. Like, come on, like don't do me like this, you know? And I think they both were very, very adamant of saying, I'm just one of you guys. Don't blow me off first. And
For
so I
sure.
hope that they're able to keep that up going forward. I'm kind of iffy on one of them, but we'll get to that later.
Okay. So the first thing we get into is Kohas setting up their tent, sort of. They're having their struggles with camp. I think there's always that one tribe that seems to struggle, at least in real Survivor, with like setting up the camp, and then one tribe has the mansion of shelters. But they eventually get this tent set up. JJ is worried about the people, thinking about him having an advantage being a returning player. Is that something you might have thought about, Liam? Is giving the returning players an advantage moving forward?
No, I think I saw them as returnees as an advantage as is, and then in my head making it such a spectacle of them coming back, like you said earlier, of counselors that put the target, so that kind of counterbalanced each other in my mind. Like, yes, they have the advantage of being returnees, but they have to overcome the disadvantage of being a returnee. So in my mind, it was 16 fairly evenly matched campers.
Yeah, I think that it really kind of helps their game in a bit for like it kind of helps their game a little bit that they are like they were brought out separately and that they were introduced as being returnee players who were blindsided in their previous seasons, etc. Because I think it kind of opens up a window for some of these first time players or some of these players that we have that don't have connections with anyone else on the cast to kind of like create a bond with them and kind of like go to them for advice or go to them with their questions to help them get through. So I think it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah, exactly. That was
For
my
sure.
thinking.
For sure. And then we go to Suncook. Easy camp life. Sets up the tent. Noah out here showing off with his flint and creating the fire. And then Peyton just like ditches everyone and decides to be in his own tent. Just this whole sequence, I was like, oh wow, they set up the tent, they have Flint, and then there's Peyton.
Yeah. That's the theme of the episode, I think, was
there's Peyton.
Yeah.
Yeah, once we got that sequence, I was like, Peyton, if you mess up in the challenge, man, it just, there's one thing to have a winner's edit, but there's clearly a boo edit here, buddy. You got to get it together in the challenge. I was like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
I was like said out loud as I'm like munching on salt and vinegar lays. Like, what are you doing, bro?
So you try to hide the boot sometimes, but sometimes you just can't.
Yes, it's very
hard. Meet the 15 others, and there's Peyton also.
There's Peyton?
Peyton's great. Peyton filled in 24 hours before, so big shout out. Thank you to Peyton. But
yes.
There was 15 players that were supposed to play that game, and Peyton filled in that last spot to make it 16. And now those were the 15 that were into it. So the Survivor gods worked their way out. With the cow.
As we get into this next challenge here, the tree mail, I loved that it was like a letter from home or something like that. That it was like a legit letter that you gave them and not a piece of bark, or it like really like brought in the theme of everything.
Sweet. The art direction of it was my art skills, which I equate to probably like a 12-year-old that would be into art at a summer camp. So I think it works out pretty well. And that continues the whole season. I did tree mails the whole way through. So, and it's a nice little easy segue for myself to edit.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So this challenge was really interesting. You had to navigate a course with walking planks, and then 2 people were on the puzzle while walking through the obstacle course. They had to pick up bags which contained the puzzle pieces to create a block puzzle of outwit, outplay, outlast. This puzzle, once I saw what the words were, I feel it's easy to try and these are recognizable words, but the way that the blocks are is just is a difficult puzzle. So I mean, we have those the walking planks. JT, how do you think you would do in this challenge? Where would you put yourself?
So if this was since it was the first challenge, I would have definitely put myself on the planks. I admire myself as being an avid puzzle doer, but not in the first challenge. I don't care how many puzzles I do, not in the first challenge. So I definitely would have been on the planks. If this had been like a challenge later on in the game, absolutely put me on the puzzle for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I could probably do the puzzle as well, but like you said, it creates a target if you don't get the puzzle and you don't have a Peyton. But we see Kohas originally seemed like they're doing the best, and then all of a sudden Suncook creates a quick lead, and then Kohas back in the lead to then win immunity at that puzzle. JT, we were both right with our prediction of Kohas winning that first immunity.
You guys nailed it. You guys nailed it. It was, I think they'll work better as a team.
Yeah. I was a little hesitant while I was watching the episode. As I was like watching these people like actually in action, I was like, I don't know. I think Suncook might take this challenge. And even as you were explaining the challenge and what they have to do, I was like, yeah, this is going to be Suncook's challenge. And then
Kohas pulled it together.
What happened?
I will say Kohas had a 2 or 3 minute lead going into that puzzle, and Sonia and Erica were very quick and very much almost caught up to them. It was way closer than I was expecting with the lead that Coas was able to generate, but it was really that close that we saw. But yeah, Coas just dominated there.
For sure. So we get back to the Suncook camp because they now have to go to tribal council. We see Tremern just like bouncing all around, all over the place, finding every group of people to be like, so Peyton, right? Peyton. I'm hearing Peyton. The word on the street is Peyton. So I feel he's a bit of a puppet master.
Yeah, he made sure that Peyton was going home. He was like, all right, we got a name. Let me make sure, because I mean, and I'm on the Tremern chain when it comes to that. It's like, if this is the name, I need one, production, call us to tribal now, or two, I need to go keep making my rounds and make sure everyone knows that that's still the same name and it hasn't changed. Because if it has, I need to know.
Yeah, he didn't have to work very hard on this round.
And then we see Sonia call the girls together and it's like, yo, Girls Alliance. And I'm all for Girls Alliance. I think Girls Alliances are great, but it's also just so much the kiss of death where it's like, hey, JT, Sonia's trying to start an all-girls alliance. How do you feel about that? And then, Sonia's the next one out because she's trying to start shit.
Right.
So how do you feel about this girls alliance?
I don't know.
Are you like Erica, not for it, and going to be probably the one to make that?
I won't. I'm not against it. With this individual group of women, I'm not against it. I don't think it's gonna work because of the men that are on this tribe. I think the girls on the other tribe actually would have a better chance of having a successful alliance.
Interesting.
I don't know. I just feel like all the girls on this tribe are like gamers, like super gamers. It seems like, and we literally got like 29 minutes of them, but I feel like they're just good gamers. Like, just from their demeanors and the way that they were talking in their confessionals, I feel like it's not going to be successful. And if it is successful, then it's going to go very, very deep.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, Erica though, she's just not for it. And I feel like she might play along for like maybe a vote to keep the girls on her side or something, and then be like, so Sonia.
I could definitely see that happening.
Yeah. Speaking of Sonia, she has a conversation with Katie about Peyton maybe having an idol because he's been going off on his by himself, and he slept in the tent alone, and that whole business. And then Katie gives a confessional where it's like, Peyton has the idol. And I don't get where her miscommunication of like, Peyton might have an idol to Peyton has the idol. So Liam, do you have any background on that?
Not really, honest. That clip I have of them talking, we had this like one extra backup camera, like use in case of emergency type deal, and the audio was unusable, and I can't even hear it editing it. So I had no idea. I assume it's just Survivor telephone. May gets dropped. Gets added in your head when you're paranoid. First vote, you don't want to go home. So yeah, that's my assumption. And you use, like you said earlier, JT, using the camp counselor as, oh, this is a role model person that did it before. She's saying he may, which in my head is, oh, he does, and then
exactly.
That's my assumption of.
So with this paranoia comes some stray votes here at Tribal Council, but Liam, how was your first tribal council for Survivor Roysan? Like, what was the vibe going into it?
Quite honestly, I hate tribal council. I hate hosting. Quite honestly, the whole thing. There's too much going on that hosting is. I just think I would get mad at anyone else hosting. Then like, oh, you're doing it wrong. But I have no idea what. I was getting my feet wet too after 2 years of that tribal council, and everyone's just lying to me there. I hate tribal. Like if we could just go and vote, I'd be fine. But
I think some of us as players hate tribal too because we just want to get to the vote.
Yeah, it's all bullshit. It's like you're bullshitting me. I'm trying to get something, but I can't dig too deep because it's finding that line of. It's all weird. But that's what the vibe was too. It's always like. Everyone knows everyone's lying, and I don't know. It's fine. It's part of the structure of the episode.
Because they always say like that the time at tribal council like rarely changes the vote. That's like for real Survivor and for LRGs. I think I would probably say maybe 8% of the time does the vote actually change at tribal.
And if it does, us fans complain about it because we can't hear what's going on. Then and they're working.
Exactly.
Yeah, even a part of the jury. It yeah, for sure. So the vote breakdown is we get 1 vote for Erica, and that's Peyton's vote. We get 2 votes for Andrew. So that's going to be interesting to see the aftermath of Andrew seeing his name twice by Sonia and Katie, and then Peyton has all the rest of the votes. So I was kind of shocked at the mishmash of votes and not it being so direct. JT, what were your thoughts?
So I thought it was gonna be 1-1 and then everything else on Peyton. I wasn't sure if she was gonna vote with Sonia. I thought that maybe Sonia would just be the sole vote for Andrew just in case. And then when she voted for him, I was like, all right, so this, I don't know, maybe someone got some wind of something and we might get a little surprise. And then right? And then the host in me like started to catch wind when Liam was reading the votes, and it was like, first vote Erica. I was like, okay, we know what that is. Then it was like Peyton. I was like, okay. Then it was like Andrew. And it was like Andrew. And I was like, he gave the 2 Andrew votes, so I know the rest of them are Peyton. And I've spent enough time rearranging votes in an urn to know.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, with the first vote too, it's like that's the most. That was this slam dunk. That was the most I could hope for, is a little funkiness. So yeah, I like messing with the contestants too. It's fun.
It's the best part.
Yeah, I bet Andrew just was not expecting those 2 votes on him, let alone like 1 vote on him. So to know that he's now on the bottom of the totem pole, see what he can rearrange and do with this tribe is going to be interesting. And if Sonia and Katie can lie that it wasn't them and pin it on someone else, maybe like, ooh, Peyton was that other vote. Oops.
Yeah.
Yikes. That's gonna be yikes. That's all I can say is yikes.
Yeah, it's interesting play by Sonia too, because she easily could have. The thinking makes perfect sense. It's an insurance policy, but getting that second one is, even editing it or going through it, it seems unnecessary because it will just be that 1-1 tie. But I don't know.
Yeah, if Sonia just tells Katie, "Oh, write Andrew," and I'll write Peyton, Sonia could then be like, "I didn't write Andrew's name down." So get someone else to do your dirty work. That would have been interesting.
Because it would have only taken 1 vote anyway if Peyton did have something. Because I mean, you would assume that if Peyton has it, then Andrew doesn't. So they can't both have it. So might as well just put 1.
Yeah,
I think that would have been the smarter move to try to. I mean, either way, Andrew's going to be upset. But I think making it so 1, there's only 1 vote and not 2, and then 2, being able to say, it makes it easier to lie when there's only 1 vote.
Yeah, it makes it easier to say I wanted options just in case there was a revote. I didn't want Erica just to be left or whoever to be. Yeah, you put some
Because if it
control in
was two, I mean, I know that if I was in Andrew's shoes, I would like go back to camp thinking like that someone actually that my name started to get some sort of traction because I could see someone throwing their vote on me because they think someone else has an idol. Okay, cool. And they want to make sure that they don't go. Okay, fine, awesome. But
that means you want me to go.
Exactly. Not only do you want me to go, but also you were able to get a second person, which means that my name somehow has some sort of traction. And that would worry the heck out of me.
Especially going back to camp and there's only 7 of you left.
Exactly.
That's already 2. Yeah, that's why I like the 16-person, 8-person cast because that's kind of like a fun little. The numbers get small quicker.
Yeah, and with this girls' alliance, Peyton, a boy, is gone. So if they decide to just ride with numbers, girls have numbers.
Exactly.
So I guess predictions for who's gonna win this next challenge. Challenge 2. Who's gonna wind up going to tribal?
I don't know. It's a food challenge, so I don't know. Because I feel like both tribes have people that I think would excel at a challenge like this. I think that JJ would excel at a challenge like this because he has, LRG experience, and this is a sort of LRG staple, in these games. And on Kohas, they also have John, who I think would probably destroy this challenge. And then the other tribe has Andrew and Noah, who I feel like also seem like the types to kill a challenge like this. So I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence. But if I have to make a prediction, I'm gonna say this prediction is gonna go with my boot prediction too. But I'll give that to you later.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say that Kohas wins again.
Okay, we're gonna differ, I think, for the first time. I'm gonna go with Suncook because they have their all right, we just went to tribal, we don't want to do this again. They lost Peyton, who I think, was a big hindrance in that challenge. So I think they can rally back together. And I mean, Andrew sure as hell does not want to go home. So I think they might pull out this win.
Who do you think is going to go home then if Kohas goes to tribal?
I don't know. Ooh, you're putting me on the spot.
Yeah, Kohas got pretty little time this week.
Let's see. Maybe they might take one of the relationship pairs out to get rid of a pairing. So I'd say one of the significant others.
Okay. So I think that Kohas is going to win, and that Suncook is going to go to tribal again, and that Erica is going to become a casualty of just a chaotic tribal. I feel like because her name was already thrown out there, that she already had one vote at tribal, and they're not going to know who to vote for. And I feel like she's going to be the type of person, with all of her drama with this girls' alliance and with
the girls might turn on her.
Yeah, not knowing what name to put. They're like, well, let's just do Erica. She's already gotten votes. And I feel like she has a better chance than Andrew because even though Andrew's already gotten votes, I feel like Andrew can manage his relationships better than she can. So I feel like she just might be a casualty of some throne vote tribal chaoticness. Chaos.
Madness.
Yeah.
Madness.
Liam, who do you think is gonna win?
Well, I have a question for you two. This episode was almost like a meet the cast episode.
Right.
So with this one episode under your belts, who do you have a revive revised winner pick after this one episode?
Who did
I
I
think
say?
JT, I think you had John, and McKenna,
Yes.
you said Noah, I think.
Maybe. I think if JJ can get there, I think he has a strong chance. Because he's just light, bubbly, is very good with his people. So I think JJ would be a backup for sure. But I'm always one to stick to my guns. So
I am gonna stick with John. I was gonna say that, but I definitely like see some more other people in different light now that I'm able to like see more of them. Like I have so much more faith in Sonia. I'm really high on Chamern. I'm really high on Noah. I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of people that I was like, maybe. Then I'm like, oh, maybe.
Perfect.
Yeah, I think Tremern is definitely like an MVP for this episode because he was just putting in work and it wasn't perceived as sketchy or anything like that. People were like, "Oh, we love Tremern. Tremern's great." So I think he got his way for this boot, and I think can keep rising and keep gaining in his alliance.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the thing I'm looking forward to the most in this season is probably going to be like the aftermath of like the merge portion of the game. Like final 8, final 9, after we really get to see where those pairs able to make it to the end, where the counselors able to make it to the end, are these extra, hinky votes able to like, will they affect the game that far into the game? That's what I'm super excited about.
I'm excited. I think, yeah, looking back on the finished episode so far, I think the first 4 are kind of the table settings, the players placing their pieces on the board, and then from then on out, it's the game that we love and cherish so much.
So excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I'm for sure excited to see how these players navigate this game, especially when a lot are new to like the LRG world and like actually playing a Survivor game world where, we always watch a season of Survivor and like, oh, I would have done this. Well, now they have their shot to see what you would do in this type of situation. Will they crack under the pressure or will they rise to the top? And that is to be seen.
Yep.
JT, do you have anything else for us?
No, I'm ready for the next episode.
Yeah.
Is it Thursday yet?
Yeah.
No, I think that this is shaping up to be a great season. This first episode was fantastic. Great job, Liam, with your editing, like McKenna said. And I cannot wait for episode 2 so that
Liam?
I can be correct with my.
Yeah.
We'll just see about that. Liam, do you have anything else for us?
No, I guess a little preview. It's what's the fallout of the 2 hinky votes. Kohas had the 2 hours post-win to really settle into the tribe, and yeah, eating is always fun as the challenge. So Thanksgiving night, if you're sick of your family or just want to get away,
want to watch other people eat instead of eat yourself, there you go.
You can break away for a little half hour of Survivor fun.
Nice.
All right. Well, you can follow Live Reality Games on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. And subscribe to Survivor Roysan Merrimack Madness on YouTube. That's where all the episodes will be. They will be airing Thursdays at 8 p.m., 7 p.m.?
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Let's go. And we are hyped for the rest of the season. Later, everyone.